Good afternoon, Michael. How are you today?
I'm very well. How are you?
I am fantastic. It's great to see you, and thanks very much for taking part in the business spotlight. If we could kick off, Michael, tell me a little about yourself, your background, and your business, please.
Okay, so my name is Michael Corish. I run a company called Corish Film and Video Productions Limited. We're based in Dundonald here. We produce corporate films, TV commercials. We cover live events, and we do behind the scenes films for feature films and that kind of thing. My background, I'm a graduate of the Ulster University, 2002, where I studied visual communications 21 years ago, and yeah, from that I kind of worked on a couple of companies, did some sort of crew work and that kind of thing. Uh, Mostly freelance work, if I'm honest. Worked for a company called AEL Video actually for about 18 months. Was about 24, doing a lot of audio visual type stuff. And then went out on my own September 2006, and into the big bad world of business, as a film and video producer.
And when you were growing up, Michael, is this what you always wanted to do, or is this what you saw yourself doing?
I think so. I mean, from was as long as I can remember, I was always writing stories. I was always, creative writing was my favorite subject at primary school, and drawing. Now I don't know if my mom has any of the drawings that I did back then, but and drawing comic books and that kind of thing. And then I suppose when I became a teenager, that kind of naturally evolved into photography and kind of how pictures can come together to make a moving image story. Got really into sort of 16, 17, got really into directors like the Coen brothers and Tarantino and all that kind of stuff. And yeah, just was a natural thing. I didn't want to do anything else, so it's kind of handy that I'm doing what I'm doing now.
Who would be your ideal customer? Describe your ideal customer, please.
Um, so an ideal customer, if a customer comes in and they know kind of what they want, that's a good start. And then once we've sort of had a discussion and we know what we're kind of going to produce for them, it's to sort of give us a little bit of freedom. They kind of trust us to sort of do what we do, and trust that we're going to deliver something really nice for them. It's really good to have customers who also have their own, some really nice creative ideas and stuff like that. Like they might get excited about, if they get excited about cameras and drones and that kind of stuff as much as we do, that's always a good start.
And what would you say has been your biggest learning since being a business owner?
Well, to be honest, the biggest learning curve is really anything to do with running a business. I mean, whenever I was, I was 26 when I went out on my own. And all I really knew was that I knew how to shoot things, I knew how to edit things, but I didn't know anything about how to run a business. So, since then, I've become a manager. I've had to deal with all the, some accountancy things, pitching for work, that kind of thing. That was at uni. That was never. I was the sort of person who really liked to make the things, but was too embarrassed to talk about it afterwards. So that's the whole pitching side of things has been a big deal. But honestly, everything to do with running a business from day one till now, and to be honest, you never really stop learning.
Completely agree. Completely agree on that front. And who's the first person that springs to mind when you think about the word success?
Success, well, it's funny enough, it's Steven Spielberg. I don't know why. It's just, growing up, it's just, Indiana Jones. He made every Jaws, every kind of big film from that period. I mean, but generally, like anybody, I suppose it's how you measure success. I think that it's not necessarily about how much money you have or the size of the car you have, the size of the house you have, or whatever. I think anybody who basically is doing something that they love and they've got a good work-life balance at the same time is a success. I think you can find success in a lot of ways that way.
Yeah, it's a great point. Great point. And what's been the biggest challenge that you've faced in your business, Michael?
So, the biggest challenge, I think, the last couple of years, COVID, sort of price of living, that kind of stuff. I think COVID for all business owners was kind of a bit of was a big challenge because nobody really knew what way it was going to go and that kind of thing. And then sort of the cost of living. I mean, things like just like your bills and that kind of stuff, just in the last year and everything else. But I suppose off the back of that, it's always trying to be positive. I work with a lot of freelancers and have like an in-house team here, and possibly the challenge is trying to keep people motivated and innovative while you're kind of looking around and the world around you isn't so sure what's going on with itself. So.
And what gives you the most inspiration? What inspires you the most today?
Okay, so it's just a good question. There's lots of sources of inspiration. I mean, you could take inspiration from, I might be having a coffee in the morning and I'm watching the news, and there'll be a story comes on about somebody who has, something quite drastic's happened to them, and then they've had to go through some sort of process, and then like they come out triumphant at the end. I find that kind of stuff really inspiring, and you learn quite a lot from that type of thing. If you're ever, you're running your own business, and possibly some of the stresses and the challenges of running your own business. Whenever you see people who have like possibly lost limbs or something like that, or lost loved ones, and then they've come through a challenge like that, and they've come out at the other end. You sort of look at that and think, well, I could really learn something from that. And then on another level, I mean, other things that are inspiring could be, techniques in movies, that kind of stuff that we would maybe watch. You might get inspired by just something like a documentary or something like that. That there's maybe a technique that's been used. There's maybe some sort of like, or even a conversation with a friend about, oh, I've got this new lens, or we've got this new light that does this, all that kind of stuff, and it gives you ideas and sort of drives you on to think, well, how am I going to use that in my own business?
Very good, very good. And if it were possible, Michael, and you could go back and give some advice to your 18-year-old self, what would that advice sound like?
Okay, well, I think what I'd say to my 18-year-old self would be, don't get frustrated if things aren't happening straight away. I think there's loads of time, and anybody who has a bit of talent, they have plenty of drive, they're not afraid to knock on doors, and what was the other thing? I mean, they're a go-getter, and they want to actually get somewhere. They're going to get somewhere. They're going to have some success in life, because if you're not afraid to ask questions and knock on doors, and you're going to get somewhere.
And what aspects of your business are you most excited about in 2023?
Well, 2023. The year started off, as you can probably tell, I have a passion for filmmaking and films and movies. We've been doing quite a lot of behind the scenes work on local feature films being made here. So I'm quite excited about that. We're doing another one coming up here March and April time. So that's going to be good fun. We've got a couple of live events coming up. I'm actually quite excited about those, because there's kind of a lot of thinking on your feet, maybe technical sort of, with a moment's notice, oh, we've got this big technical thing to do, and you have to go and I actually you might not be able to tell you enjoy it at the time, but it's quite a good, it's a nice challenge to have, and then we have like, some tourism projects and that kind of thing. I'm looking forward to that, because I love doing stuff outdoors and actually seeing things that are here in Northern Ireland, and it's good to get out there and get some nice footage that way. And other things are just drone footage, animation work, and there's loads of good stuff coming up.
Good. That sounds like an exciting year ahead. And if somebody likes the sound of this, Michael, and would like to reach out to you or your business, what would be the best way for them to go about that?
So our website would be the first protocol, www.corish.tv, or they can phone us directly. The office number here is 02890 483 382. Either one of those channels. Our email address, studio@corish.tv.
Fantastic. Well, Michael Corish of Corish Film and Video Production, thank you very much for your time today. Thanks for giving us your story and your journey on the Business Spotlight. I really appreciate it, and I wish you every success for the remainder for the 10 months that are left, as it is now, of 2023. Thanks very much.
No problem. Thank you very much. That's great.